Good morning, curling world. I'm very, very glad and honored to welcome you back to the Baden Masters 2012. We're into the semi-final. It's no one else than Rasmus Stjerne from Denmark fighting against Michel from Switzerland, current defending champion of the Baden Masters. It's the first event of the Curling Champions Tour. We are covering live from Baden, Switzerland. My name is Daniel Schifferly, and I'm joined by Roger Gulka.
Morning.
Glad you joined us.
Yeah. Tough wake up this morning, but always ready for some new good curling there.
Yeah, and we have a typical defensive opening of this end. Rasmus Stjerne went right into the rings with his first rock, and now we see one takeout after another. It's very likely that we have a blank end to open up this game. It's an 8-ender, so only 8 ends of play. That is the usual format of the Curling Champions Tour. As you can see, Michel is timing the rocks. At the beginning of every game, it's very important that you get your so-called split times right. That's for the skip, taking the time a rock takes from one hog line to the other. And that gives you some input on what the ice conditions are. Just as a reminder, ice conditions are changing during the day, so it's very likely that we have different conditions this morning than we had yesterday during the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Well, apparently yesterday evening the ice conditions were quite difficult. Like at the end, the ice was really slow, and actually the ice apparently makes it very, very tiring for the sweeping. It kind of sticks a bit. Pebble wears out quite early. Otherwise, it's reasonably regular, and I mean for like end of the summer ice, it's actually really good. So.
Well, and we have to keep in mind that yesterday there were games right from 8:30 in the morning up to, what was that, 11 at night.
Yeah.
So the ice was a bit worn out, but I think Armin Harder, our ice maker, had a early start this morning and prepared the best ice he could in order that we have some really great conditions here. Just as a information, right next to our featured game, we have, of course, the other semi-final happening where we have an all-Swiss duel between Peter de Cruz from Geneva and Mario Freiberger from Zug, I think. So, Roger, I think we can both say we are proud to see 3 Swiss teams in the semi-final here.
Yeah, it would be even nicer if one of those 3 teams could win the tournament. And yeah, it's also nice to see that they're all young teams and talented and promising teams in particular. I mean, like you could say the old guard there with Ralf Stockley and Jan Hauser decided to stop curling, and now we're left just with young teams who actually are coming up with quite well. And yeah, it's good to have like 3 teams, like 3 or 4 young teams who are really more or less at the same level and who can play really well. And so you've got a good future.
Yesterday, or actually last year at the World Championship, or when was it, this spring in Basel, I read quite some voices on the internet who were showing a bit of fear that Switzerland would lack the sort of teams in the future to keep on track and be head-to-head with the world's best. Well, I think having 3 Swiss teams in the semifinals here is a pretty clear proof that it's not this way and that we're still on top.
Mehr, weniger. Zo gleich, wenn er hier liegt.
Goed.
Of course, if you don't share my opinion, please commentate online. You can always commentate on our Facebook page. It's live curling on lola1.tv, or just write us an email to live@curlingchampionstour.org. We are happily answering your questions if you have any.
Nog ahead. See. Ahead.
So still a very typical first end. We're not going to see any surprises here, I guess.
Normally there should be a blank end, except if the skip, let's say, half misses his last shot by sticking in the house. Well, we haven't. I think it's the first game that we comment this weekend where we see that. Actually, usually most of the time they were starting out with guards, and it was already quite an offensive. Actually, we've seen a few difficult situations in first ends. You don't know the ice that well, etc. Apparently, it's very fast at the start of the game. So, yeah. But sometimes I don't think it's such a bad idea, just to do the first as defensive. You make your shots, and then you feel confident.
Well, what we do have to say here is that in the Curling Champions Tour, there is no time limit, whereas in most world events, like the World Championships or even the Olympic Games, there is a time limit, and then we see quite often teams opening up as defensively as here, just to save some time, because later on in the game, usually you need some time to discuss, you need some time to make sure your strategy is right on spot.
A little tricky takeout there for Sven Michel.
Zie je? Wow. 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 Hoe is het nou? Zie je? Goed.
Ja, dat is goed. Goed.
So Rasmus is just going to draw anywhere in the house on the side. Hope for Sven Michel miss. Either if he misses the rock completely, or if he hits and stays in the house, which is quite strangely in curling. We like when the other team scores one with last rock, and that would be a good thing, because they would get the advantage of last rock and be able to try and score more than one.
So it appears to me that the ice is not quite as swingy as it was yesterday. We've had maybe 3 feet of curl on this draw here. So it should be interesting to observe the ice conditions during the day and even during this game. We might see an increasing curl about the 4th or the 5th end. Right now it's quite straightforward though, so it shouldn't be a big deal for Sven Michel to get rid of this red Danish rock. It's Sven Michel, the young Swiss skip, with his second shot in the first end of the semi-final at the Baden Masters 2012.
Stjerne! Stjerne! Stjerne!
Nice sweeping there. They were able to keep it on track. And we will see a blank end in the first here.
All right, so just one blank end there to start. I suppose teams will start to attack now. And the second end,
Well, we're still quite early. It's should be interesting to see what Rasmus Stjerne is going to call here. Telling after what he played the entire weekend, I'd say he might even go right into the rings once again. And that's exactly what he's calling for. Top of the 4-foot circle is a task for Trolls Harry. Actually, Harry is quite familiar to both of us. We've been playing him in juniors, and now he's on Rasmus Stjerne's squad for 3 years already, I think.
He was already part of playing with Rasmus during the 2009 World Junior Championships in Vancouver, where they won the gold medal. Actually, quite surprisingly, but with a really high level of play, apparently Rasmus was outstanding during that week in Vancouver. And now, like we expected, Michel is going to try and take a few little risks. You know, just place 1 or 2 corner guards, keep the center open. You know, so you take a few risks, but not that many. I mean, you try and make sure you can score your 1 anyway, and it's the even end. So it's a good moment if they can score 2 right now. Michel.
So, as Sven Michel is building up his strategy, we are taking our time to introduce you to the teams. As mentioned before, we have 2 high-level teams here on the ice. The young Swiss team around Sven Michel. Of course, they were the Swiss representatives at the European Championships in Moscow, Russia last year. And they are the defending champion of the Baden Masters. So they are looking to win the title once again today.
An interesting call again there. Sometimes, you know, you usually see players maybe throw the second one in the ring, so there finally he just plays a guard, which is quite an interesting option. Actually, with the guard, he will really force Sven Michel to play in the middle, which is better when you don't have last rock. I mean, you try and keep the game into the middle and not on the sides.
So from this perspective, you can see the curl quite nicely. This one was expected to curl a little bit more, though. Even though Simon Gempler was even having a little bit of fear whether this rock would chip off the own corner guard or not. And he just got lucky, I think. Might have been a little bit wide on this one.
Yeah, we remember games yesterday where I remember Brad Gushu being wide on that side too. So it's probably a side that doesn't curl that much, and if you just flip it a little bit out, maybe when you release your rock, and it will just not come back enough, especially at the start. And there, once again, also rock not curling that much, but it's still good. Hit and stay.
So here we go. It's, as we mentioned, Trolls Harry playing lead for the Danish team. He's 21 years of age, started curling in 1998, and his major success was, of course, the World Junior Champion title. Then Michel Poulsen playing second, 27 years of age. He's still a student, and he's been to the Olympic Winter Games 2010. And European Championship Silver 2010. Then we've got Johnny Frederickson playing third, 37 years of age. Same deal, he was a player at the Winter Games in Vancouver. And finally, the skip, Rasmus Stjerne, 24 years of age. Started curling in 1997. He's a student, and his idol is the director Christopher Nolan. Lars Wieland is their alternate developing consultant, and his major success was to be at the Olympic Winter Games 2010. They're playing out of the curling club. Oh my God, what kind of name is that?
Vidovre.
I really hope I pronounced this one right. You can follow them also on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Team Stjerne.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the end has been keeping on by Rasmus Stjerne placing a new guard in front of his red rock, and then Michel taking it out. Well, on the sheet next to us, Mario Freiberger had scored a 2 on Peter de Cruz's team. I think there was one open takeout missed from Team de Cruz, and there you go, they got a 2 taken on them.
So this one curled quite early, and that's why they stopped to sweep it. Left it quite high up in order to keep the line, keep it in front of the shot rock on top of the 8-footer.
That's a very long guard now. It's very difficult if ever you want to make a, if you want to hit one of those rocks in the house at the back, if you want to take it out. So seems like they're going for just a hack. Wait.
Heavy sweeping action on this one. Are they able to drag it by the guard? And they are not, just chipping off this front guard. Even though it was that high up, it fulfilled its purpose.
Now Stjerne with the middle nicely blocked.
Two Danish sweepers trying to get as much finish out of this shot as possible. And I think, well, they're still seeing maybe a third, if not even half of this shot. So Sven Michel is calling for a takeout through the port.
Oh, there's just that little hole there. It's a bit more difficult to go through it the way Sven Michel is asking him to, but he hasn't got the choice. They have to from inside out to get that rock behind. It's always a good sign when they say yes, no, yes, no. And there's a great shot.
Very nicely executed by Claudio Patz, the Swiss third. Nice weight control by his side there.
Yeah, and very nice direction. So now switching the situation suddenly. We see that rock really had not that much space to go through. Those two guards there up front.
So the Danish skip decided on drawing right into the 4-foot circle, again through the port. You've got to be quite precise on this shot. And I think he flicked it out a little bit. Starting to curl now though.
Hard sweeping for the speed.
Really digging in there. Hard sweeping.
Oh, and it's much too short.
And this might have been a misjudgment by the sweepers. And suddenly the situation looks quite nicely for the Swiss here.
Wenn darum zu viel gehört, hat vielleicht ein Doppel in. Wäre auch nicht gut.
Du schau, wenn er lang ist hier hinten.
Ja.
Was meinst du so?
Ist gut. Es gehört schon ein bisschen da.
Fein ist es halb, hä?
Ja, ja.
Swiss team are
Nicht zu
now
weit nehmen, sonst
going
kommt er
to
auf das
draw
Mal so
around
her.
the red corner
Weißt du, wenn er
guard.
übergehört?
It's
Eben,
really
halb
important
offen
here
gegen
that it
aussen.
doesn't
Ja.
overcurl. They do not
8 Fuß.
want to give the Danish
Ja, nicht,
any
dass
chance for a double takeout.
Dass er nicht von innen kann. Sonst kommen wir
So
sonst
the
kann er
line
doppelt
is-
spielen, kommen wir nie her.
The key on this shot, it's not really the weight, it's the line. Of course, they want to sit shot or second shot,
Second nehmen. Also sicher jetzt rausnehmen.
but first of all, their first priority is gonna be to be behind this corner guard. So it's Sven Michel with his second shot
Muss sicher ganz in 12, hä?
in the second end
Oh,
of
richtig
this
gut.
semi-final.
Ganz in 12.
Ziehen! Sicher ins Haus.
Wow.
Linie ist perfekt.
Ziehen!
Of course, it's only his first shot. Mistake on my behalf. As you can see from this perspective, they definitely fulfilled the task. Lying second shot, and there's no chance for a double takeout here. That's exactly what they were looking for.
Rijk mes op, les.
And now we see the Danish discussing.
Oh, you're forgetting the possibility of a raised double takeout.
Oh, well, that's exactly what the Danish are thinking right now. But that is one long distance.
Well, I don't know if they would want to go back through the port, or they're trying to go through the other port. It seems like Rasmus thinks that he can manage to go through that yellow and that red, and then next to that other red there that was just thrown. That's very complicated.
It's a high precision shot once again. Rasmus Stjerne.
I think it's close from being a crazy shot. Doesn't seem very satisfied with it.
And we see the first key end here.
And there we go.
The Swiss team having hammer and having the chance for
3.
easy 3 here.
Yeah, well, it's just a little bit tricky, you know, to get the rock in the house because the middle is completely blocked. So
So it's quite interesting that they're calling for the right side of the sheet, which is, of course, a little bit more covered. Of course, Sven Michel just threw this rock before, and that's why he's calling for the same side,
yeah,
even
he's
though
just
the other side would have been.
he's more
more
logical, yeah, but a lot more open. But yeah, he just has to throw 2 times. Like he knows the ice, he knows the speed, the sweepers. Just
Ganz in
were there
12.
before. I mean, he just has to
Klein
throw
weiter
the
raus.
same rock
So
more or
Sven
less
Michel.
as before.
Weiter raus, hä?
And his sweepers are sweeping it really hard. They're 2 tough guys there, Troye and Gepelin.
Schauen. Ja.
This one is
And
looking
yeah.
really nice, though, but they
Yeah.
have to
Looking
sweep
very
it.
nice. Yeah.
They have to drag it
Yeah,
ahead.
they've got it.
No big deal for the sweepers. We see the Swiss scoring 3 points
All
against
right.
the Danish team early on in the second end of the semi-final.
So the risk paid off. I mean, you start with a few guards complicated. They were in a bad situation. And a really, really nice shot from Claudio Petz there through the port. You know, like he was taking the uneasy side of the port. It was easier to go through this port from outside in, but finally he had to go from inside out, and he made it perfectly. And that shot totally turned the end around, giving an enormous advantage to the Swiss. And after, the Danish didn't manage to succeed one of their shots to save back the situation, and the Swiss just kept on rolling by.
Well,
Just trying to
talking
get
about
two
risk
two other
management,
rocks.
it's definitely the Danish that took too much risk in this end by leaving all these guards in front of the house.
Yeah.
And, we were only the second end, and Rasmus Stjerne was maybe a little bit too confident there.
Yeah, well, he was guarding that rock, and finally, when there was that little port there, Claudio Petz, after Claudio Petz made his shot, I mean, the guard was pretty good, but
Immer noch
just
ein
not good enough. I mean, if it was maybe 50, not even less, maybe 30 centimeters a bit further, there might not have been any port, and then Claudio Petz couldn't have made his shot. So It's really just a question of centimeters. And, yeah, he was taking a few risks that were, I believe, for me controlled, but that little mistake and a beautiful shot. And
That's
after
all it takes in curling.
Yeah, that's all it takes. But after they didn't manage to pull it back out of the fire. They didn't manage to also pull back actually, I think they missed all their shots after that.
Yeah, they had quite a few misses there. So what we are seeing here in the third is the complete opposition of the second end. Now it's, of course, the Danish putting up corner guards and trying to create some possibilities to score 2 in this end. Swiss lead. Simon Gempeler throwing a second rock. Once again, close to the rings. Trying to sit in front of his first shooter of the shot rock. And maybe even getting into the rings.
All right, that's a good start again to the end. That's a similar start, actually, from the last end, except in the opposite ways. Now Trolls Harry.
Nice weight here by the young Danish.
That's a good shot. Nelson Michel discussing about taking the guard out, and I think that, well, with it being 3 up, he doesn't have any option. Just peel that, take no risk. Hey.
Yeah, you don't have any reason to take any risks whatsoever. So we see Swiss second throwing the big weight, getting rid of the guard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, playing that defensive curling is probably not the sexiest type of curling you can see, but I mean it's the one you have to do right now. I mean, you're 3 up, you have last rocks in the even ends. I mean, you have to stop your opponent from scoring, get back the last rock in the 4th end, and score another 2. And then you really have the game locked, I think. But still, it's getting pretty interesting if ever this draw is made there.
Again, big sweeping here by the Danish sweepers. Dragging the rock right into the 8-foot circle. It's too bad they weren't able to drag it maybe a foot more. Still in quite a nice spot.
Yeah, reasonably nice spot. I wonder if there's a possible double. But if you try the double, the red might jam on the yellow at the back there and stay guarded, actually. So that would... It's very tricky right now for Sven Michel. I think it would be good for him to think very carefully what he's going to do. You know, I'd personally maybe just, you know, hit one of them, not try and make the double, hit and roll in front of the other one, like they said for showing.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're pointing out right now. You don't want to jam onto your shot rock there. So just taking off one of the 2 red rocks and sitting in front on top of the other one should be a good option here.
Yep. Oh.
Snyn.
Oh. Oh. Yep. Yeah. Oh.
Go.
Perfect.
Actually, this is a perfect shot.
Goed zo.
Beautiful shot there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, now with the yellow front and in front of the red there, Stjerne will have a bit more trouble using that red, but he can, yeah, I think he can just see half of it. Maybe try and push it on the yellow. But I mean, starting to get a little complicated and a little difficult if ever he wants to score 2. It'll be interesting to see how the end develops there afterwards. So after this rock, we'll certainly see 2 Danish rocks in the house.
Take 2. Yep. Pas. Kort fart ind. Kort fart. Fin ånding. Pas. Whoa. Whoa. Tæt. Tæt. Whoa.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Yep. Whoa.
Really
Yep.
important here to
Yep.
stay
Shoot on the truth.
on the rock, not lose it.
Come on, Eva. Come on. Go, go, go,
And
go.
really nice weight control there.
Yeah. That was impossible for Charles Harry to follow that rock, the shooter. So that brings it like as far as he can in the rings to avoid a double takeout. But I still think that the double takeouts there, they are at the same height. Those 2 rocks are at the same height, but they're very close to each other. And if you hit the top of the red one on the left, I mean, you still have a good margin to roll there onto the right and get the red one out. But after, you might be also yourself leaving a double.
Or you might as well leave a pocket for the Danish to draw onto and lock a shooter right onto the button.
Also clear.
So I think Sven Michel is only going to call for a clearing here.
Yep. Smart call, actually.
Well, you know, you don't want to take any risks. It's the Danish that have to take risks here.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that, well, he can go for the double, but that's the thing is that if he makes the double, or even like if he doesn't make it, he might leave a double to Rasmus Stjerne, something he can play on. That's going to be very dangerous. So,
Very nice shot
good
there.
shot there finally. Rasmus with last stone there, doing the necessary, calling for to open the center, become a necessity. He's got actually a good freeze there onto the yellow shot. I mean, if he can get rid of those 2 guards, I mean, that would be good.
Johnny Frederiksen looking to open things up.
Yeah. The calmest man on earth. But he just didn't make that peel.
Garde.
That's very annoying because with that rock still remaining in front in the blue ring there, I mean, Sven just needs to guard it more or less, and Rasmus will have extreme difficulty to play on that. And maybe that now Adelboden's got a good chance to steal if ever they manage to keep it up like that.
So it's still the Swiss in control of the game here. We are in the third of the semi-final at the Baden Masters 2012. It's the first event of the Curling Champions Tour. If you want to know anything about our tour, check out our website. It's www.curlingchampionstour.org. You can read something about the history, something about the men and women in behind of the stage here. Our organizing committee.
Game
And I think there's even a little part about ourselves, the TV crew.
It's a bit too bad there. This shot is just a little bit short. Now he's leaving Rasmus with an opportunity to not bother about this guard because it's way too far. And it's not even completely covering the yellow rock there. So Johnny Frederiksen once again.
Danish trying to shake things up in the rings. No sweeping whatsoever. Seems as if the curl is coming quite late on this one.
Oh.
And that is another misfortune there.
Yeah, it's a bit too bad. I mean, you probably thought it was going to be okay. I also thought there it was just going to curl maybe perfectly, you know, to make that double. I mean, he was really close. Under the circumstances, I mean, that still remains a very good shot. I mean, he was very close from the double. a bit unlucky, you know.
Mal so
Maybe
können
hitting
schon.
just a tiny, like curling just a tiny
Brillo,
bit more, he would have made it.
weniger mal nichts, oder?
Well, now another chance for Sven Michel actually to
Aussen.
just replace the guard and
Von außen.
stop Rasmus from being able to play directly on that red rock there. That's really well placed in front of that yellow one, but that is sadly for him not shot.
Dass diese bis hier hinten tappen.
Dann musst du den machen.
Well, what the Swiss are discussing here right now
Ah,
is
nee, sonst gibt's
whether
eine Brille.
Rasmus Stjerne would be able to come around the side instead of the middle in order to tap back the shot rock just a tiny bit, just enough to lie shot themselves. They decided on, well, even though we might be able, we have to close down the easy way, and that's of course the center line.
Siehst du nichts draussen? hä?
Nein, nein.
Okay.
Vom Gelben siehst du auch nichts. 2 Meter länger als das. Ab Centerline beißen wäre nicht schlecht. Man muss nicht. Hier noch. Nicht zu nach, sonst schießt er uns der Rand weg.
So, Sven Michel's first shot of this third end.
Wow.
Zieh! Ja, ja, zieh.
Wow.
Zieh!
Drüber hoch.
Drüber. Ist gut, Linie. Linie ist gut.
Oh, drüber
Looks
hoch.
as if they're quite satisfied with the line. They only need to drag it over the hog line. Are they able to drag it over? Oh,
Oh, and this
that
is
is
the first
not
hogged
good.
rock we've seen yet in this tournament for the commentating, like that we have been commentating. Like we were saying, if ever a rock doesn't pass that hog line, that thick that thick black line, sorry, well, the rock is removed to play, and here's a perfect example, you know, for people who discover curling. So you have to pass that black line to keep your rock in play, just like those two yellows we can see on the screen. And then
this, of course, is the worst possible moment
yeah, that's
to
a
lose
really
a
bad
rock
miss.
within the two hog lines.
I mean, it's like it's nearly complete. I mean, it's a complete zero because it means that it's like if Rasmus is actually playing twice in a row. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
it's like at practice. You know, you play, make your shot, then you just play another one.
And this miss is even more so important because it gives a little mental push to the Danish.
They who have absolutely jump on it, and they really have to. And
Very
I mean,
nicely
that seems like a really nice
done
shot
here by
again.
the Danish sweepers.
Oh wow, that's all right. That's perfect.
That's a beautiful shot.
That's a really nice shot because not only he manages to lie with two shots, but he also stops cuts any double. I mean, his rock rolled absolutely perfectly there. I mean, yeah, I think you can dream more. Very nice shot.
And what a big miss it was for the Swiss. So it's really, really important
Yeah.
that they don't let themselves to be dragged down. They're still 3 points ahead, even though they might have given up 2
Yeah.
by losing this shot.
Well, if he makes a good hit and roll there, he still has a chance to steal, or maybe force Rasmus to play a very complicated shot to
Yeah.
score 2 on his
Whoa.
last rock and
Whoa.
maybe
So Sven
only
Michel
leave one.
looking for a
Oh,
hit and roll in order to keep his team
Zieh!
on
Zieh!
top of this end. And once again, a mistake by the sweepers. Both
Well,
of them had their brushes
Very
not on the ice.
Very strange
on the
because,
side.
yeah, well, Sven Michel is playing on his outturn. He usually tends to flip his rock a little bit outside on his outturn. And they did seem to be worried. They even seemed to think that the rock was much too wide. And I don't know if it's a misjudgment or or the ice just played them a little trick there.
Well, either way, the important part is that the sweepers have to be focused right from the release to the stop of the rock. And I think they might have learned their lesson during this end.
Yeah.
So we see Rasmus Stjerne drawing right into the 4-foot circle.
My boys, go, 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 go.
To help the sweepers, but no problem.
No big deal. It's 2 points for the Danish, who have taken their chance, made use of a tiny little Swiss mistake in the wrong moment. So we are at the score of 3 against 2 in favor of the Swiss after 3 ends in the semi-final of the Baden Masters 2012. My name is Daniel Schifferle. Right next to me is Roger Goka. We are covering live from Baden, Switzerland. I'm glad you're with us today.
Yeah. It's a pleasure
Enjoy
to be
the show
with you.
Läuft nicht so aus wie die anderen Spiele. Er kann irgendwo sein da. Eigentlich.
Jetzt ein Bügel.
Fuß hindern.
Können wir? Wow. Nein, nein.
6.
Nein, 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 nein.
6. 5.
Nein, nein.
Schweiter.
Nein. 5. Ah, ah. 5. Hinteren an, hinten 12. Bis hinteren. Zieh! Zieh! Zieh, zieh, zieh!
So we did mention yesterday that you have to avoid to get behind the tee line, though there are those special moments where you have to drag your rock as far as possible. And this one was one of those moments where the line was more important than where the rock is coming to sit in the rings. It's Trolls Harry trying to taking out the yellow rock and sit in the rings himself. Not too much of curl we see on this side. As Roger mentioned before, Brad Gushu was struggling yesterday with getting some curl out of his takeout rocks. Let's see whether Simon Gempler is able to do otherwise, though they're calling there's no line on the shot, which means they can't sweep it whatsoever. And even though this was only a draw shot, barely no curl, Simon Gempler might have flicked it out a tiny little bit. But that's just enough on our Bodner ice here. Big sweeping by the Danish. They were able to drag it by the guard and chip off the yellow rock. So once again, a miss by the Danish front end. And as you can see, Michel Poulsen is not too happy about that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a bit disappointed with himself there. He missed that shot.
Ja, seine ist recht görlich, jetzt noch.
And once again, it's a chance that is not taken.
Ja, das schießt die Brille aus. Da könnte höchstens hier sein.
Vorne, bis zu 4. Okay. 7, 8.
8, 9.
Nice.
Wow.
8,
14.
8,
14. Achtung.
8,
Oh. 4. Oh. Nee, nee.
8,
4. Oh.
8,
4. Oh. Oh.
7.
Oh, lief. Liefres.
Nice little weight control there by the Swiss second. Only pushing back the Red Rock. Well, you can see now they're leaving a little bit more rocks in play as the score is not as clear as it was before.
Yeah.
Nej, spil 4. Den løber lidt tilbage sådan her nemlig.
Well, after
Rimelig tynd vinkel.
a very defensive first end, it's become quite an interesting game there. Yeah, quite a few rocks in play, you know. I mean, but there's been always a few key misses in every end now. And actually a few key good shots. I'm thinking about Claudio Petz's takeout through the port there in the second end. And oh, there's a nice shot.
Well,
and then
there's another nice shot.
What's his name? Rasmus Stjerne's very, very nice little tap back and roll to lie 2 there without leaving a double in the third.
And
those key
interestingly,
shots.
what is interesting on this shot is that the angle is really the toughest angle out there from the top perspective. You can see that there is a 45-degree angle between the two red rocks. There is no chance to play a double take out here and stay in the rings yourself. That's why they're only calling for a hit and roll behind the guard. And what a beauty it is. High-level curling we can enjoy here at the Baden Masters 2012.
You know, I mean, once you get at a really high level like what we're seeing here is that, you know, it's always to get the little extra. I mean, like, okay, he had an open takeout. I mean, anybody can play that open takeout, but what you really want sometimes is always to get that little roll behind the guard, you know, lie with the right angle or etc., you know. And this is what really makes the difference between good teams and great teams, you know, is when you always manage to get the little extra. And here they managed really to just roll behind the guard. So now they're forcing Rasmus to a complicated freeze. Actually, the Danish were actually quite lucky that this rock is behind the tee line, which permits them to play the freeze. But there we see that they're short again, which is actually not such a catastrophe because they can still use that rock.
Sven Michel keeping heads up though and really taking his time to think about his strategy, and that's why he's calling for a open draw here, just splitting the house. Be sure to sit second without giving a chance for a double takeout. Taking the game a tiny bit off the right side and off the shot rock in the 4-foot circle.
Yeah.
So we'll see Claudio Patz with an open draw to the tee line, trying to sit exactly leveled to the shot rock on the right side of the house here.
Oh. Oh. T-line. T-line.
So they wanted T-line. That means that more or less they're the same height. And their yellow shot there, just to avoid any possible double. Seems a little bit short there. They're sweeping it really hard to get as far as they can. It would be good if they could lie at least second shot, which is probably not going to be the case right now.
But they are lying third.
Third, yeah.
Which is at least part of the mission.
Well, the thing is that now, like we see, Rasmus is just going to use that rock, maybe trying to roll in the middle. Maybe, I don't know if he's a bit lucky, get a double, but I don't think that's what he's looking for. I think he's just looking for just a simple roll towards the center. You have another rock that you can use there in the middle that will be in front of T-line that will really bother Sven Michel.
So as we have reached the middle of the game, I we'll give you an update on what's happening on the other sheet right after we've seen this shot. So on the other sheet we have a all-Swiss duel between Peter de Cruz and Mario Freiberger, and they are at a even score. It's 2 against 2 after 3 ends.
Yeah. Well, right now they're in a situation where we don't know who is shot right now, and it's Benoit's last rock, and it seems like maybe Benoit is lying shot right now. He doesn't have last rock, so I think he'll just draw behind the guard and try and force Mario Freiberger to score 1 to maybe score 3-1.
Claudio Pats with a nice freeze. Just a tiny bit on the fast side here. Of course, they wanted to avoid a tap.
Problem with that shot there is just a little bit wide, and now Rasmus can use that rock just to, just nick it and roll a bit inside in front of the yellow, and then that would make the situation very complicated for Sven.
Rasmus Stjerne looking quite anxiously. A really neat little shot there. Unfortunately, they were not able to drag it right into the 4-foot circle. So it's still the Swiss sitting shot, though there's an awful lot of red around here.
But I mean, like, shot or not, I mean, this rock is extremely dangerous for the Swiss team. I mean, because it's in front of the tee line, and it's in front of those 2 yellow rocks. I mean, to get rid of that red rock without touching any of those yellows, I mean, really difficult, and maybe close to impossible. I don't know. I think that either I would maybe guard this, but I don't think that would be the best solution, knowing Rasmus can still use his other red rock there. They're biting the 12-foot. Maybe drawing into the 4-foot or something would be a good option, you think?
Well, I think it definitely is an option to just call for another open draw here.
Yeah,
make sure there you have a third Swiss rock in play.
Yeah.
And, right now everything is really focused on this left-hand side of the rings here. So it might have been a good option to just draw open on the tee line as if Claudio Pats, the same deal Claudio Pats tried before.
Drawing open would be maybe the best choice. Maybe just trying to draw behind this red there. That's biting the 12-foot. Like just be just a tiny bit hidden to avoid a possible double. Of course, it's a very complicated shot, but the situation's a little bit complicated. I mean, Sven's got to be very careful now. I mean, it's a possibility, but
well, it is a quite hot situation here, and I think they're going to try to sit on top of this red rock with a corner freeze, making sure Rasmus Stjerne is not able to raise it onto the shot rock.
Yeah, maybe if he can, I don't know, I think maybe he's trying to go and freeze on the inside of that rock. Anyway, it's a very complicated shot, so the sweepers are going to have to be very alert now.
Wow. Linie ist gut. Wow. Muss noch können. Wow. Wow. Warte noch Meter. Zieh!
can see the sweepers working very, very hard on this rock. Well, I wonder really if that was the result he expected. Maybe there's still a port there. That would be still quite a difficult port to go through. You can be sure that Rasmus is going to play on either of his two red rocks now. Yeah. I mean, whatever happened, you couldn't block both raises. I mean, you could block one or the other. Well, the one they blocked is probably the best choice because it's leaving Rasmus with the harder one to raise, you know. And we'll see what happens now.
Nær samme forandring. Så tag vores lige ned. Johnny, der er masser af hul, vil jeg bare lige sige, men det kan godt være, det ikke giver sådan noget. Der er halvanden stens hul. Ser ikke ud af meget. Ja, det er ikke så, der er meget hul dernede fra. Jeg kan godt lide den anden. Samme fart.
Rasmus Stjerne.
Go! Yep! Yep! Yep!
Danish skip.
Hard! 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 Hard!
Once again calling out for his sweepers. They have to stay really focused here. Are they able to
And that looks pretty good.
push the red rock into, well, into second position, but it's still the Swiss lying shot. And that's, of course, the opportunity they were waiting for.
Yeah. Well, Cole draw the forefoot. Usual skips rock once again. You know, draw the forefoot. They have to do that. They have to be able to do that anytime. Either if it's for an extra point for now or to save a hot situation. Skip always has to be able to draw the forefoot at any time.
Sven Michel drawing to the forefoot. And it looks quite short, quite on the light side. Heavy sweeping by the Swiss right from the beginning. And I don't think they're able to drag it into the rings. So it's only going to be one yellow, 1 point for Team Michel. And that is, of course, a, well, quite a sad result.
It's a bit of a heartbreak because from their body language it seemed like that rock picked something, you know. So, well, by picking something it never really had a chance to make any result, and it's quite disappointing, you know, and that's one of those shots, you know, well, every shot is important, but those are shots for extra points are really important. And I remember even when I was skipping, you know, you have a draw for an extra point and you pick something and you're there like, oh.
You can't do anything about it.
Can't do anything about it. And, you know, it's one good chance missed, you know. But, you know, picks are part of the game. I mean, they can happen and try and avoid them, but you'll never be able to avoid all of them. But, yeah.
Still, it's the Swiss in blue here, leading the game after 4 ends with a score of 4 points against 2. It's Sven Michel fighting against Rasmus Stjerne from Denmark in the semi-final of the Baden Masters 2012.
Yeah, not a too bad situation in the end for the Swiss, even if they don't score the 2. It's always better, you know, to score the 2 because you retake your 3-point lead, which is quite a big lead, you know, in an 8-10 game at that level. But, I mean, they're still 2 up, you know.
Being in even ends.
Being in the even ends. So, well, you know, but even though for Rasmus, this is also quite a good operation somehow because, you know, he was 3 down. So if you want to catch up a 3-down lead, you score 2, you leave 1, and you score another 2, and then you're tied again. So right now, I suppose that Rasmus, he's going to play corner guarded. Now he has to try and score 2 himself.
So after 4 ends, there's really nothing set in stone right now.
Yeah.
We are still at a interesting game here. And as we are opening up the fifth end of the semi-final, we can introduce you to our Swiss side. It's Sven Michel, of course, the defending champion of the Baden Masters. And his lead is Simon Gempeler, 26 years of age, started curling in 1999. He's on Facebook as an IT specialist. His idol is Brad Gushu. And Sandro Trollier, second, 24 years of age, started curling in 1998. And his idol is, as many other Swisses, it's no one else than Roger Federer. Claudio Patz has the same idol. He's 25 years old, started curling in 1995, and he was third in the Curling Champions Tour of last year. Same deal with Skip Sven Michel, 24 years of age. He's a bricklayer as occupation, and his idol is as well Roger Federer.
Yeah, Roger Federer, who seems to be the idol of most Swiss players in general. And, Roger Federer, who just beat Verdasco to qualify for the eighth of finals of the U.S. Open.
Nice.
Come on, Roger.
So we have Robert Hurliman, their coach, who used to play for Christoph Schwaller, of course. Team Michel is playing out of the curling club of Adelboden. Their website is www.teamadelboden.ch. Little side information there. If you want to see a really, really nice little town in the Swiss Alps, go and check out Adelboden. It's a beautiful spot, and guess what? They have summer ice up there. So if you want to practice your curling skills in summer, check out Swiss Alps. Have a bike trip or two, or take a stroll during the beautiful woods. It's Adelboden, the place to be.
Yeah, and there's beautiful waterfall in Adelboden. It's quite nice to go, walk around and stuff anyway. Swiss Alps are really nice to go have some hiking. Good experience, and very beautiful.
Well, of course, we're not in summer anymore with the Baden Masters. Their curling season is officially opened, and we are here in the semi-final of the first event of the Curling Champions Tour.
Yeah. We've seen quite a lot of rocks there who ended up short on this game. Maybe the ice conditions maybe just changed very quickly, and the players are still surprised. Also, there's again, I forgot he called it. I said the handbrake effect. Like your rock just starts stopping right at the end. Just like if somebody had put the handbrake on the rock, and you can sweep it as hard as you want, it will never do anything in there. Once again, frustration in the Swiss ranks there. Another pick.
Well, I did speak with Peter de Cruz yesterday, and he told me that yesterday during the quarterfinal on sheet 3, it took only 3.5 ends, and then the ice was already flat. So that's exactly what we are seeing here. Within the center part of the sheet, so maybe 2 feet to either side of the center line, we do have some flat ice coming up, especially in the end zone there, and rocks stopping quite brutally. Though this one was just a bit overthrown.
Just a little bit though, but it seemed like it was going to go way further than that, and finally it just, you could see it just dug right away. Well, it's not a great shot from the Danes. All right, so they were just trying to do the hit and roll, and
Okay.
didn't manage to achieve that. So now it's Rasmus Stjerne's turn, asking Johnny Frederiksson to do the hit and roll.
And it's no hit and roll
Got the
there.
doppel.
Great joy,
There's
ja.
still
On
the
the
same
other side.
deal, pretty much the same call for
For inden.
Halve.
Ja, ein bisschen weniger. Ja, halb.
Geen weniger is.
Als je nog maar weg. Ja.
Okay.
Hey. Probieren wir.
Claudio Pat's asking for a little bit less ice. Maybe he wants to play a little bit more weight, you know, to get enough energy to roll towards the center.
sweeping right from the get-go there. This one is looking quite nicely though. Are they able to... Oh.
They were really actually going for the double and not
That
just
was
for the hit
close.
and roll. Yeah. Quite a risky call, you know, just go only for the double maybe. I mean, maybe sometimes just a bit better to hit and stay a bit on the side. Because now
what we
they're
have to mention here,
offering
the
a
rock
chance
is still
to
sitting in behind of the T line.
But now they're giving a chance to Rasmus to go and draw in front of that rock.
Hand åben derovre. Ja, her. Eller vil du bare der igen? Nej, nej.
So Rasmus Stjerne and Johnny Frederiksson talking across the
Den er
ice,
heller ikke automatisk for ham. Den er virkelig funky
agreeing
derovre.
on the shot that they're going to play. Finally, they take what Rasmus already chose there, draw behind those center guards going from the left.
Retning. Pas. God retning. Pas. God retning. Sæt. God retning. Ja. God retning. Switch frisk ud. Switch der. Pas. Mikkel ind. Wow. Wow. Wow, aldrig så. Aldrig røg. Køb dog lidt. Wow.
Just didn't curl enough.
In the curler.
I wonder what he's going to call. Defensive or more aggressive shot there. The offensive option would be like he's showing right now to freeze onto that rock in the middle. More defensive option would be to hit that rock there. That was just thrown and maybe roll inside or something. What do you fancy more actually?
Well, you know, there's even the high side run back double take out there.
Yeah, it's true.
And, well, you know, it really depends on your confidence. And I think Sven Michel is a confident draw player. And that's the way Skip should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So he is going to call for the freeze, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's probably quite a wise call. I mean, if ever, you know, like he just hits that first rock, and then, like, he won't be lying shot for sure, and maybe he will just allow Rasmus Stjerne to maybe do a hit and roll or something, and then have two rocks buried. Maybe it's good to be the first one now to bury that rock and freeze it, and then you will be just cutting those two red shots for good. But it's very important. I mean, you're not allowed to miss that.
Well, you know, and it's quite a clear signal as well to your opponent, saying you're still there.
Oh, and he just didn't get the bounce. This is actually a very nice shot now.
Just didn't curl quite enough, still sitting frozen to the shot rock.
I think that he was quite afraid on that shot there.
Så går den i stå. Ja. Vi prøver at få indersiden af den. Den er stadig løs, ikke? Meget, meget løs, eller bare løs?
Danes. We had to make it past that guard. Whoa.
And I think that rock actually touched the guard a little bit.
Not sure, but it was really close anyway. I think that we don't know really who's shot right now, but anyway, one thing is sure, that red rock is in front of that yellow rock, and so it's in a much more ideal position. I think it's Michel just has to play once again that same freeze he played, or maybe just a cold draw to the center. The freeze probably being the simplest option, knowing he just played it on that line.
Recht deutlich hier, habe ich das Gefühl. Ich würde hier, oder vielleicht sogar ein bisschen tappen, dass wir hier die Corner Freeze liegen und den ein bisschen lösen und den hier hinterkriegen.
Aber das ist...
Wenn ich Freeze komme, kann er nicht
versetzt, darfst du nicht sein, dann kann er einfach schiessen für 2.
Für 2, ja. Aber das wollen wir müssen.
Ja, wenn wir garten und wir Schott sind. Ich glaube, wir sind Schott.
So Claudio Pets, the Swiss third, thinks they're lying shot there. So they are thinking about just putting up a guard.
Ja, ich sage rot, das war noch nicht zu knapp, habe ich das Gefühl.
Though you really have to be sure in this situation, and as these two rocks are so close, it is really hard to tell. So all 4 of the Swiss.
I don't know. I would personally not play the guard. I mean, if you want to... I don't know. I'd rather play the freeze personally, but...
Well, very interesting. You can see here Sandro Trollier looking at the button itself and at the little tiny hole in the center of the house. You know, it has to be really tough for an ice maker to be precise there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like the hole has to be right in the middle. I actually don't know how they measure that. I think they have like a little point or something, and they dig a little hole in the middle. And that hole is actually used to put for the machines actually who measure the rocks. I mean, we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen a measure yet. But when 2 rocks are very, very close and you don't know, you have like some sort of big compass you can use to see which rock is the closest to the center than not. And it's for this to be precise, it's very important for that little hole there where you put the compass to be nice in the center. And Peter de Cruz on sheet 4, who stole 2 in the third and stole another 1 in the fourth, and is now leading 5-2 after let's say a bad start by having lost a 2 in the first end, but they've caught up well. Now they're winning 5-2, 3 ahead without last rock. And they're actually right now in a pretty good position.
Sven Michel again looking to draw into the circles, into the rings. And this time he seems to be a little bit on the wide side. They have to wait for the finish. They have to wait for the breaking point, the moment when the rock is starting to curl, which is right now. And the line is perfect.
Well, now I would expect Rasmus to use his red rock on the side there. Bump it up in the forefoot and maybe manage to score 2 if ever the red rock is shot, then he just has to bump it coldly in the forefoot. Otherwise, he would have to maybe touch a little bit that yellow, which makes the shot much more complicated to score 2.
Well, the thing is, you can't really be sure there, can you?
Or he's looking for the great shot. Run back.
Well, now once again it's
Disadvantage with that shot is that he might leave him with quite a lot of chances to leave him with one, and I think the tap back is a little easier.
Så får du den her, så får du din ene. Måske måleren til 2, fordi du selv i tvivl.
At least for the one.
Jeg synes godt, han ser gul ud.
Close foran med sgu. Altså selv hvis du sætter den her,
ja, så får du dit point.
Spiller du kant?
Freddie Frederiksen, the most experienced player of all in this team.
Lidt mere en kant.
Ja, lidt mere is.
Johnny Frederiksen, of course. My mistake. He told Rasmus Stjerne, you might as well just push this red rock into the 4-foot circle. I think he pretty much went through the same analyzation of risk management we just did before. It's not the highest risk you're taking here.
Yeah.
And you definitely are going to score a one-pointer, if not two.
Yeah, I think that was a smart call from Frederiksen. Whoa, that rock picked something.
And that is really, really unfortunate at this moment. So now I think we are going to see the first measurement of the weekend.
And so now you will see, they just leave the rocks for the measure, get rid of all the other ones. You're only allowed to measure once the end is over. The only time you're allowed to measure is actually during the end, is actually to know if, like at the beginning of the end, you know, with that free guard zone rule, you're allowed to measure to know if a rock is actually touching the house or not. You've got a special compass who's the exact size of the house, and you can use it before the 5th rock, you know, to know if you can take out a rock or not. If it's not in the house, you're not allowed to take it out. If it is in, then you can do it.
As we are waiting for the measurement, I can give you a quick reminder.
And there's the
you can always ask us questions. Just write us an email to live@curlingchampionstour.org, or check out our Facebook page. It's it's live curling on Lola1.tv. And it is 1 yellow point, so it's a steal of 1 point for Sven Michel.
Yeah, catches up for last end's pick, and now a new 3-point lead for the Swiss side.
And quite funny, Claudio Patz went up to his second and told him, "Man, you need some glasses. I told you right from the beginning it's ours." Well, I guess that's why Claudio Patz is playing third and not second. Or at least one of the reasons. We are at the score of 5-2 in the semi-final of the Baden Masters 2012, the first event of the Curling Champions Tour. If you want to read anything about our tour or just check out which events we are covering, and of course which events are part of the Curling Champions Tour, go on our website. It's www.curlingchampionstour.org.
Seks, 7. 7.
Entweder hier oder deur. Hou wij hier deur, hè? Goed, Claudio.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
And there you can see actually the Swiss team actually sweeping their rock as far as they can, knowing that rock is very far. And you know, we always say that it's a big disadvantage to have rocks behind the tee line, especially when you're ahead, you know, because they can really bother you in the end. They tried to sweep that rock across the house so that it wouldn't just bother at all. It's better to have no rocks at all in play than a rock behind the tee line. Sadly for them, the rock is actually just sticking at the back of the rings.
Trolls Harry putting up the corner guard, trying to create possibilities to go behind and finally score 2 points. It's Simon Gempler playing the takeout on his first and his very own rock.
Yeah.
As you said, you don't want to have any rocks behind the tee line and as less rocks in play as possible at this point of the game.
And you're 3 ahead with 3 ends to go. That's for sure, you don't want any rocks in play. So right now, Rasmus is putting some corner guards in order to manage to score 2. And then we'll see the Swiss team peeling out those guards, as long as the Danish people will put some more on.
Yep. Hurry. Ned i halvanden, dreng. Hurry, retning af SUI. Hurry, ned på linje. Oh, boys, hard, go. Hurry, go. 100 meter mere. Come on, hjem, hard guard. Go, 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 go.
So the sweepers tried to get those rocks leveled. Didn't quite happen. It's Sandro Trollier playing the peel weight here.
Big weight. Sandro loves to play those kinds of takeouts, and I was really close.
And even though he fulfilled the task, but he's not quite happy with the result. He, of course, wanted to get rid of both guards at the same time.
Yeah, I can also see Rasmus Stjerne not too happy about his result. So we see once again this takeout that was really close.
Michel Poulsen with another corner guard. Now it's a quite tough angle to get rid of both guards, and that's why Sven Michel is calling only for 1 peel. It's again Sandro Trollier executing it.
Another peel. So this is actually quite a classical tactics. There is no rocks in the middle for Rasmus to attack, so what he'll do is just place guards, and then Sven Michel will each time remove them. If ever Sven Michel's team miss a peel, then that's just better for Rasmus. But otherwise, it's not such a problem. You wait until the third man's second shot to go in the house behind one of the guards. So you place the corner guards, then you'll have the next shot. Sven Michel's going to peel one of the guards, and then on Johnny Fredriksson's second shot, he will draw behind one of those corner guards. Sven Michel will peel this guard, then they'll put another rock on the other side of the house, and they will have their 2 set up.
Well, that is basically the plan they've been working out, I guess. For now, it's Claudio Pats getting rid of a guard.
And there's the miss.
There is the miss. And
by missing 1 peel, it gives the chance of Rasmus Stjerne to score a 3, because now he will draw behind one of the guards. Then Sven Michel will peel that guard, and then they will draw behind the other guard. And then Sven Michel is going to normally take out the rock that is in the house, and then they'll be able to draw a second one behind the guard.
And that's the moment when they score at least 2 points.
So
Let's
now if
see
they manage
whether-
to use their guards properly, they should at least be able to get it too.
Plads.
Let's see whether Johnny Frederiksen is able to
Running.
bury
Masser af
his
plads.
shooter behind one of the corner guards.
Yder bakken her til sidst, dreng.
Coming down nicely now.
Yep, goals, yep.
Interesting call from the outside.
Yes! Yep! On!
He had been playing on that side for
Men er nok, Clete.
the whole fourth end.
Stays wide open though, and that's why Sven Michel can call for a easy, straightforward clearing.
Well, it's still a bit tricky there on the side. The guard may be hiding the rock
Yep!
halfway.
Tier! Tier!
But Claudio Petz doesn't seem too scared about his shot. Well, it doesn't matter. He rolls out. Second chance for Johnny Frederiksen to make his draw properly behind the guard.
This time Rasmus Stjerne is calling to get around the guard
Det
from the
køler sådan
inside.
stykke.
Den var også forbi med så meget. Det vil jeg ikke, så tage den anden. Så bare ikke ud, som om der var mere køl den vej.
Bedre retning. Plads, rolig. Plads. Troelses. Plads. Kom nu. Troelses. Hold lige i gang nu. Hold lige i gang nu.
Yep.
Rolig, rolig, rolig. Herned.
As the other one was a little bit on the wide side. This one is heavy.
But
And
it is hidden. So
it
now
is partially hidden, definitely. But I think you still should be able to hit it directly.
well, yeah. Thing is that when you see from the hack, you might just not see that rock at all.
Jeg lukker snart hende, is goed.
Zo is voor, hè.
Jeg
But
har lidt skyldt at sige dat.
now, actually, the question is, would you go for a freeze, or would you just peel the guard? And you're
Well,
3 up.
You're 3 up, and then I think you definitely go for the hit here. I'd even call for the direct hit and
Wat is er, wenn
give
wir über
not
die
a hell
Schweiz
lot of
probieren?
ice.
Kann etwas passieren.
Was over het schruit.
So,
Oh, I think he's going
Is it
to
all-
play the run back,
is er al ja ervoor?
Zo licht in.
which is an
Ja.
option. The
Okay.
risk is that he could miss the run back for just
Zo zal het nog
not
maar
very
gaan.
much and stay
Of hoe
as
sta je eens,
guarded,
hè?
Ja, je had
guarding the red rock.
well, and that's why he's probably putting up not too much of ice here.
Yeah.
You definitely want to make sure that you get rid of your shooter. You don't want to stay in front of the house and give your opponent another guard.
Shooter.
Hoese.
Yeah, finally they just managed to sweep that rock out. And now Rasmus is just going to go as planned to draw behind the other guard. But actually with that situation now, it will be difficult for Rasmus to play for 3 because Sven Michel, whatever happens, is going to attack the open rock, play on the easy rock. And that red one that's right now in the rings is totally open. And you can be sure that Sven is going to go for it.
Well, we still have to keep in mind that for Rasmus Stjerne, the main goal in this end is to score 2 points.
Yep.
3 would be a nice extra.
Ja, Troelses.
Herned, det er jeres for faren.
Right now, he's perfectly on track to score his 2.
Herned,
Hold lige i gang.
herned.
This rock needs to finish, though.
Herned.
Yeah. Mustn't leave a double takeout. It must be at the same height.
Godt far, dreng.
And I think that's a perfectly executed shot.
That's a really, really nice shot. There's no double takeout there.
Well, there could be, but it's very, very difficult, and you have to throw really hard and really precise.
Sicher, sexy. Ik doe zeker dat het geht. Zit er niet op.
Halbe. We kunnen het proberen. Ja.
Vielleicht weißt, rollen wir her oder so, dass Sven schon noch
It seems like Sven Michel is tempted by
Ja,
trying
Oberhand
the
is sowieso niet aan de rol.
Nee.
Vielleicht nimmt
Well,
sie
you
da.
know,
Double
even
take
if you only roll in front of the other one, or
Well,
at
even
least to
if
the
you
side of
even
the
if
other
you
one.
just only take out that red rock
Wir geben ein bisschen
and
an.
roll out, I mean, at least
Das kannst du
he's
einfach
never
nur
going to
den-
have more than two.
Bringt
You
nichts.
have absolutely
Kann ja
got
nur
to
da,
make
der ist
sure
ganz offen, mehr
that
als
he hit
ganz.
one of
Wir
the
können
red
auch
rocks.
nicht.
Vielleicht können wir da hinten
And you can't
anwinken.
jam, you
Ja,
can't hit the
aber
guard. That's forbidden. I mean,
schnell
you can't
vor.
do that. Otherwise, you're just offering the three on a platter.
Well,
Sie fast gleiche
and
Höhe.
it's the same deal with playing a draw. You don't want to play a draw here and be too short, or come up too heavy.
Yep.
What you do want is to get rid of at least one red rock and making sure that Rasmus Stjerne is not scoring any more than 2 points. Ideally, you even take up both of these red rocks, so it's
Yeah.
Sven
Whoa.
Michel bringing out the big weight here
Oh!
and waiting for his shooter to curl, and it was really close. Didn't curl enough, but it did have the weight.
Alles fint nok. Hold sammen spor.
So Rasmus Stjerne with a wide open draw to score his 2 points in the sixth end.
Go! Go! Hold i gang. Hold i gang. Hurry.
Komm nun, hurry.
Go, 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 go.
And the sweepers need to stay with this rock, drag it right into the rings. It's an easy 2 points for Rasmus Stjerne and his Danish side. We are at the score of 5-4 after 6 ends of this semi-final of the Baden Masters 2012, of course. First event of the Curling Champions Tour. And I think it would be nice for you to know what these teams are actually playing for. The prize money here is 31,000 Swiss francs. All in all, if you win this Bonspiel here, you're gonna go home with 11 grand. Second prize is 7,000 Swiss francs. And then for the third, it's 3,500 each. Fifth to eighth place, it's 1,500. So basically, we can say all 4 teams who are on the sheet right now have at least 3,500 francs in their pockets.
Ja.
That's already quite a good price. I mean, you know, the start of the season, getting that kind of money, you know, is a good thing, you know, because curling is not a professional sport normally, you know, and people have got to invest their own money if they want to play. So if you make money and during those Bonspiels, you can it's really a good boost, you know, to finance your season, you know, your equipment, your hotel fees, your tournament inscription fees, your drinks, your everything, you know. So it's actually really good, you know, at the start of the season to make that kind of money.
Even though
Yeah.
curling remains a amateur discipline in most countries of the world, it has become financially a professional sport. You have to really invest a lot of money in order to stay on track and travel around the world, go to as many tour events as possible, and of course play as many teams on world level as possible. So prize money like 11,000 francs for the winner is definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
Pas. 2. Yep. 2. Yep. Yep. Hard boys, hard. Hard. 3.
And the Danish sweepers are not able to drag this rock over the hog line.
And that's a very bad miss from Charles Harry.
And his body language, you can't see it on the camera right now, but it really tells a lot. He's not happy with what he's playing. Of course he's not. Really, really comfortable situation here for the Swiss.
We can hear Sven Michel telling his players to make sure this rock is not short. You don't want any guards now up.
Let's do.
Whoa. Perfect.
Very nice rock here by Simon Gempeler. The Swiss lying already first and second shot. Having hammer in the 7th end of the semi-final 2012 at the Baden Masters.
Gut so. Schön gekräuselt. Hä?
Oh no.
Another big miss here by the Danish.
That's two complete misses in a row. This is very rare at that level. And yeah, that's probably one of the worst things that can happen right now for Rasmus Stjerne. I mean, it seemed like he was going out to try and steal this end by asking two center guards to his lead. Then he was switching to maybe a strategy to try and make sure that Sven Michel didn't score more than one. And actually right now he's still in a situation where there will be no guards, so no possibility to steal. And two shots that are difficult to double take out.
So a really, really nice situation for the Swiss as they're looking to possibly score 2 in the 7th. No, we're still only in second shots here. So quite early in the end. It's Michel Poulsen looking for a hit and roll.
Yep.
Nicely played.
That's what you try and do, is that you try and roll towards the other rock. And then you hope that the other team doesn't roll back away from that rock, so that they might leave you a double takeout.
Stjerne hold. 11. Oh. 11.
There's the hoped for nose hit. Double occasion for Rasmus Stjerne. I suppose that if he makes that double, he might, well, there are chances that he rolls out, but even if ever he makes that double, we're going to be looking to see blank end, then see the Danes put everything to try and steal one in the last end, to grasp an extra end. Johnny Fredrickson. Good shot.
Good shot there. Getting rid of everything in the house. So at this point, I think we can start to discuss whether you would blank this end or score one. As we can see, there's not a single rock sitting in the rings right now. And then the question comes up, are you going to score with hammer only 1 point, taking a 2-point lead into the last end?
You would have to defend.
Or are you just taking your hammer with you sitting at a nice, comfortable lead of 1 point.
But
Having
with
Hammer
the
coming
last
home.
rock, I don't know. I personally feel it's a little bit better to have the last rock in the last end. You know, I mean, a 1 point lead with last rock is let's say a pretty secure situation. You should be normally at least sure to have the extra ends if things turn bad.
Yep. Wow, Wayne. Johnny.
Und skruer snel, sicher 9.
I think Sven Michel is going to agree with you, and I would agree with you as well. I think it's way more comfortable to take the last rock into the last end than having a 2 point lead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, both situations are reasonably comfortable. In both situations, you're normally at least sure of having the extra end. The advantage is that when you have the last rock, I mean, you have the last word in the end, and you can make sure you don't get stolen. And yeah, that's it. You just have to make sure you don't get stolen on. And you have the last rock, you know, I mean, your skip can just draw the 4 foot in the end to win right away.
Godt slet ikke sendergarden. Du kunne lægge senderen.
Fra den op.
Men bare læg den ind, altså det er fint nok. Og spil i, så hvis den er helt løs, så er den selv i stedet for den corner. Det er nu 4 fod.
Go.
Rasmus Stjerne drawing right into the 4 foot circle.
Spiller næste ende, skulle bare tvinge ham til drag til sidst, hvis vi slipper sådan noget. Ja, præcis. Altså, drag på den her eneste 4 for ikke.
Tip. Wow.
Tip.
Wow. Wow.
Kom ind!
Wow.
Lidt gear. 10.
10, ja. Det er for, at vi skal pile den. Jeg er sikker på, at han ikke får en. Vi vil ikke opsøge ved at lave 2 point.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
Bang. Wow.
Oh.
Danish skip with another hit and stick here, hitting it right on the nose. And we will see Sven Michel with peel weight coming down the center of the sheet, trying to blank this end and take the advantage of the last rock, the so-called hammer, into the last end.
And you could see just before there, you could see Claudio Petz actually cleaning the line where the rock is supposed to go. You know, you want to make sure it's those little extra things you want to make sure of, not to get a pick. Like you see players always clean their rock before throwing it. And, you know, often, you know, you just ask the sweepers not to sweep, but just to caress the ice with their brooms in front of the rock, you know, just to make sure that there's no picks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
There's a good shot. Yeah.
No problem at all. So it is the Swiss team around Skips when Michel having hammer coming home.
Yep.
We are at the last end of this semi-final 2012 at the Baden Masters in Baden, Switzerland. It is the first event of the Curling Champions Tour 2012.
Yep.
My name is Daniel Schifferle, and I'm commentating along with Roger Goka.
Yep. Yeah, and now I mean the games right now at this crucial point. I mean, we still have. I mean, right now Sven Michel, of course, the favorites to win it. I mean, they're in the better situation. They're they're one up with the last rock.
And look at that, we are actually on camera right now.
But the Danes are not gonna give up that easily, and they'll try everything. They're gonna try and put some center guards to to try and steal this end. Try to steal one, maybe two if possible, but at least one to make to try and get it an extra end.
Retning. Det er nærmest på vej ud til corner, så... Fint, Troels. Så var det lidt tabt release her.
So there's a first center guard. And so we see the Swiss team going to try and make the soft peeling. I mean, teams like Leeds really practice now the soft peelings, who's become, who's still a very difficult shot, but who's become, I remember a time where it was considered as like a nearly impossible shot to make. And now you see teams always trying to play the soft peel.
Well, I think actually it's only a matter of practice.
Yeah.
Soft peel, of course, a very, very effective shot, as you can see here.
And this is actually, if this red rock stays, this is like the perfect soft peeling because the red rock is really nicely on the side. You can hear people clapping in the crowd. And the yellow rock just rolled out of bounds. And I mean, this is a really beautiful shot. Congratulations to Simon Gempler. And I mean, when those soft peeling shots are made, I mean, it's such a pain for the team who's trying to steal. I mean, you really can't do anything against a really good shot like that. And now you just have to play another guard and hope that they don't make another soft peeling. And if ever they remake a soft peeling, then you're in really, really big trouble to steal because then they just have to make all their peels. And like we were saying, you know, you can only do a soft peeling because there's that rule of the free guard zone, so Leeds can only soft peel other guards.
And the Danish
Can't
were
take them
just
out.
saved to drag this rock over the hog line.
It would have been a catastrophe there if he hadn't made it through the hog line. I mean, that probably would have meant the game over. So at least with that rock just crossing the line, they're still in the game.
Simon Gempler trying to play a soft peel once again.
And they seem
This
pretty
one is
close
looking
again
really,
there.
really close. And another beautiful shot here by Simon Gempler.
I mean, yeah, it's two soft peelings. First one a tiny bit better than the second one, but anyway, I mean, two great shots. And the center is now totally open, and now Rasmus Stjerne is in really big trouble. I mean, like, again, coming back to that thing saying, you know, when your lead plays well, you're just having such a big advantage, and there we see the lead pulling out two beautiful shots, and the end is turning to a nightmare for the Danes. But it's still not over yet. I mean, every team's got 6 rocks to play. You know, everybody can miss a peel. We've seen the Swiss teams miss a peel there earlier on, so you never know. Just one miss, and they're back in the game. A miss can happen quickly. Of course, you never count on them like usual, but it can happen quickly.
No big deal here for Sandro Trollier to get rid of this center guard. And you can read the body language of Rasmus Stjerne.
Ja, lidt intrigue der, gå herover snart.
Looks like he's
Hvor
even
ligger
giving
en mere?
up on the center guards.
Samme sted.
Well, at least that will be if ever Sven Michel manages all his clearings. Well, that will be the last option. Will be to draw behind those guards on the side and leave nearly a full house for Sven Michel to draw on his last shot to score and win the game.
Yep, dreng. Ordning. 2. Ned på linje med vores bagerste i hvert fald. Ind dernede. Kom on, dreng. Godt arbejde. Kom ind. Det ser ud til at gå rundt. Ja, så sætter man den går i skvind.
That's the routine we are going to see right into skip rocks.
Selv hvis du rammer den, når den ikke er der.
While the Danish will be putting up guards. It's going to be the Swiss opening the guards up again. And basically the Swiss are running the Danish out of rocks.
Yeah.
Det bliver rigtig pænt at svinge den hele derned.
So there are 2 really good shots from Simon Gempler, and a really, really complicated situation now for Rasmus Stjerne. And actually, quite an interesting tactic now. He's asking Johnny Frederiksen to draw behind those 2 corner guards there. If he makes it very well, probably Sven Michel is going to peel those guards. And then maybe Rasmus is going to try to put another center guard. And then Sven Michel is probably going to peel this guard. And then in the end, what Rasmus is going to do is that he's going to draw a rock in the center and have 2 rocks lying in the house and hope for a hit and roll or something like that. Try and steal this way. But he doesn't even need to peel the guard, he can just go directly to get that rock. So a new try for Johnny Frederiksen.
Ordning. Yep. Yep. Retning. Yes. Yes. Bare for. Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
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 Switch hele ned. Switch hele ned. Kom on.
Kom bare hele vejen, hele
Seems
vejen.
like a pretty good shot right now.
Rigtig god retning.
To pull
Really,
it
really
as far
nice
as they
finish on
can.
this one. Hard sweeping to get it
Yeah,
into the rings,
really
but
nice
this
shot
one
from Johnny
is
Frederiksen.
covered.
Ja, den nimmt den weg auf, dass jetzt kurz kommen am Schluss.
Yeah, that's right. Now they're talking about tactics. And Michel saying, yeah, we can draw on the side.
Ja,
And
wenn du wegbringst,
Claudio
nehmen
Petz
wir ihn
asking,
fort,
yeah,
aber
what
das
are they
bringt
going to
nichts,
do
wenn wir
after
an
that?
Ja, es
Gang
wird knapp. Ich sehe einen Drittel.
And he says he can only see a third of the rock.
Kannst du 10 kommen?
Okay.
So they were just going to try and do the same shot again.
I think they're calling for a little bit less weight on this one. Get a tiny bit more curl out of it in order to get rid of the shot lying red rock.
Weg, weg, weg.
Oh,
Weg.
Nutze. Tja! 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 Tja!
Hard sweeping action now by the Swiss. Are they able to drag it by the guard? And they are.
Go, go, go.
Beautiful sweeping and even
Perfect.
rolling to the center. That is a perfect shot by Claudio Petz.
centergangen, så har vi et indlæg.
Plads. Switch.
Michels.
Switch.
Og Michels. Michels.
Switch til Stjerne. Ned i bunden. Ned i bunden. Helt ned i bunden, Mikkel. Helt ned.
Helt væk.
Helt ned. Yep. Yep.
Rasmus Stjerne decided to
Yep.
ignore this yellow shot rock and just draw behind the guard once again. This one is
Ramt, sådan.
Sicher mehr als halb.
not even partially covered. I think you should even see almost the entire rock from the hack, and that's why we're going to see Sven Michel with the same shot Claudio Paz just played twice in a row. A takeout onto this red rock.
Yeah, well, you know, when you see that view, you have the impression this rock is nearly completely covered by this guard, but when you see it from the hack, you see it from a different angle, and you might just see even more of the rock, and sometimes like a rock that seems from a certain angle completely covered is actually completely open or nearly completely open. So they're just cleaning the rock there, and no problem for Sven Michel, who just peels that rock away. And now Rasmus is probably going to try a hit and roll. You can see it's quite interesting that it's pretty difficult actually to get behind a corner guard. Like they've tried 3 times, and every time they were staying half open.
So the Danish have no other choice than playing the hit and roll here and hoping that Sven Michel will be short or heavy on his draw to the center of the house.
Pas. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Tæt.
So it appears as if the Danish decided on
Tæt.
only tapping back the shot rock a tiny bit. And they're not able to tap it out of the scoring area. So it's the Swiss winning this semi-final here. It's once again Sven Michel from Albon in the final of the Baden Masters.
Yeah, and they will be defending their title this afternoon. While Team de Cruz is now winning 6-3. They're playing the 7th end, and Freiberger has got the last rock. So for now, they would be playing Team de Cruz, but the game is not over yet, so we can't tell you who's going to go in the final with Sven Michel. So interesting game in the end.